And now, part number 2 of the Bellwether Syndicate right here on JBTV.
JBTV. Welcome to the JBTV Podcast. Each and every show is dedicated to great music lovers. And on this edition of our JBTV Podcast, we are featuring a brand new band. Are you ready? The podcast starts right here, right now.
New music now.
And another band you saw on JBTV was Boot Blacks?
Boot Blacks.
Good friends.
Also
Yeah.
love them.
How long have you known them?
About the same time as actors, so
Really?
Yeah,
Since,
roundabouts, I think
2017?
2016, 2017.
16,
something like that.
17?
Wow.
And yeah, Actors was just, as soon as Actors hit, that was one of the bands that was just, by my measure, doing everything right. Mm-hmm. They had the whole picture. And Boot Blacks was just another band. When they came up, we dug them straight away. Mm-hmm. And great people.
Yeah.
We've played with them a fair bit, and musically, they, particularly with their last album, they've really branched out into amazing territory and have gotten really great live, very, very enjoyable live.
Thanks, guys. It's a loud song. Thanks for coming to see us.
Another JBTV band that we're very much together on is, of course, the Soft Moon.
Oh, the Soft Moon.
Oh, yeah. Another great performance on JBTV. I'm going to play all this music for you, too. So this is going to be an action-packed show from downtown Chicago.
How can you love someone like me? How can you touch, make myself bleed? How can you love someone like me? How can you touch, make myself bleed?
Right here in my very home, JBTV, with an amazing Chicago band. How's the airplay on radio besides college stations? Are any of the big stations?
The only thing I know of is James Von Osdol has played
James
us.
Von Osdol.
Great.
See,
Yeah.
now he's a true music aficionado, I would say, or whatever, because he cares about it and he supports local music.
He
you know,
does.
and he's on Q101 doing
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
it's
He's
awesome.
played us. I was a guest on his Car Con Carne.
Oh, yeah, his Car
podcast,
Con
so
Carne.
it was
Yeah,
great-
that's
great fun.
yeah.
We did Car Con Sin Carne though, because I'm vegan. So we had it. We both are, of course. Yeah, and Greg Corner has played us, I believe, on Q101 as well.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
This as far as like non-college or
Right.
commercial stations.
A real radio station.
real.
Yeah. Well, Q101, I'm glad they're back. Lauren
Oh,
O'Neill's great over there, too. I don't know if you've ever met her or done
No,
anything
know
with
the
her.
name, though.
Yeah. Yeah. She's been a big fan of JBTV.
I just discovered that Local Anesthetic is no longer on. I guess from WXRT, they used to have that show where they would showcase local bands, and
Well, XRT, that was an original station that played and helped everybody. And they just sort of stopped doing a lot of the stuff. I don't know. They're owned by a big company now, too. And, they don't like to have anything that's not their approved music, But that was what radio was meant to be, the place where you discovered new music, especially late at night. When the disc jockeys could just play what they wanted because the manager's usually asleep by then. But it was good music and it meant a lot to the community, you know. So we got to bring that back, you know, some kind of trusted, you know, platform, you know. Of course, look at me. I'm just doing a show in my house.
That's where we do I do my Twitch every week from 13 Studio, which is basically the studio in our basement. So it's from home. I always joke I DJ in my slippers every week. because you can.
And I edit in my underwear because I can. Hey, that's a freedom, right?
100%.
Because you're not dressed as nice as you are at home.
Oh, of course we are.
Oh, you are? Okay. Well, I guess I should have expected that. So how about AI? How do you feel that's changing music? Because a lot of people say there's now I've actually gotten videos that are AI videos. The music's AI and the video's an AI, you know.
Wow.
Created. So, I mean, that's crazy, isn't it?
The only thing I recently saw was on Nick Cave's blog, and it was where somebody had submitted lyrics that an AI wrote that were supposed to mimic a Nick Cave song. And he wrote this long, amazing critique of how it's basically soulless and terrible. And it might give you that first impression, but there's nothing behind it. So if you give it more than just a cursory read or listen to, it doesn't have the soul. And it's kind of scary.
Well, musically, I honestly don't see it supplanting actual artistry. I think that, like a lot of things, it will present a reasonable facsimile thereof, in that for these things to function, they have to be fed, you know, data, and that data is, you know, goes into an algorithm and produces a predictable result. And as long as humans are humans, you know, we're always going to be doing the unexpected and bucking the trend and doing different things. And I don't know that people will connect in the same way with AI created art. Is it possible? Certainly. I really hope not. I hope that doesn't become, you know, the norm. But at the end of the day, human experience cannot be completely replicated.
Yeah, it's you're so right on that one, you know. But I could see you both as cartoon characters. Especially you. You could start out like you are, and then it's a scary bam, and then it goes into this cartoon, you know. And then you'd be there with your slick back hair and your glasses and your hot suits and everything.
I have a cartoon that was drawn of me many years ago that I still use in a lot of my promotion. There's a Chicago artist named Chad Savage, who does great, mostly like horror and Halloween related art, but he did a little icon of me called Toony Lady Sarah instead of Scary Lady Sarah, and she's very cute. And hand-drawn by an actual artist, not an AI.
Oh, wow. Yeah, back when art was art.
Right.
But I could see that with you, doing the voices and stuff, and doing like a cartoon thing or whatever, you know. See, that's the next project.
Yeah.
You want to talk about what you just
yeah, it's a long shot.
Go for
and
it.
I don't have, I'm not holding my breath, but I am crossing my fingers. You know, those of us in Chicago, who are at least of a certain age, we all know Svengoolie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so hosting horror films?
I just did an
audition. I was
audition.
thinking about that, yeah.
I sent in my video audition because he has a call out right now. So fingers crossed.
Well, that's for fans, right? It's like a fan thing?
Just anybody. I think
Yeah?
probably real actors. Real actors. that
you'd
do-
be good
the
at
spawn
that.
is Svengoolie. So
You'd be good
yeah,
at that.
if you're out there,
yeah.
Rich Coes.
I mentioned, I think she's got well above the average shot at it.
I want to be the spawn of Svengoolie. I love schlocky horror movies and monster movies and the classics. I love those. I've loved Svengoolie since he started in this.
Well, he's a true, you know, I mean, he started out with, his father did stuff at Fox 32 here in town, Channel 32 before
right?
Fox.
It was WFLD back then.
WFLD, Channel 32.
UHF.
You know, and then he was the son of Svengoolie, and now he's just Svengoolie. Yeah, I remember because I was on Channel 26 with JBTV for a while, and I played what was it, a chicken song for him, and I dedicated it to him. I forgot who it was. I forgot what band it was. Oh, I used to be so good before my chemo. Have you heard about this new place, that Salt
Shed?
Salt Shed.
Oh, gosh, we've not yet been there, but they have
It is
great
enormous.
lineup.
We had a little sneak peek back when it was under construction. Bobby and I went over there, and it's amazing. They got like a whole balcony area on the side and all the way around, and the backstage area. They're really building that like a big venue. It's sort of like being at the Allstate Arena, only real small, and not like the Metro. So it's the in between the bigger, so.
Very cool.
Yeah, you guys would be good
Yeah.
there. So
We would love to play there.
Yeah, it's loads. I mean, we've seen loads of bands coming into there. Immediately, it's like, oh, I'd love to see this, but in most cases, we're on the road at the time.
Yeah, we're so spoiled for great venues in Chicago. Really,
We really
it's great.
are. Yeah.
I mean, that one looks amazing. Talia Hall is great. There's some other, we've lost some great venues too, unfortunately.
yeah. Is the new Double Door open yet, or?
Not yet, but it looks. They were doing a series of live streaming concerts during their construction like, from afternoon. It looked like that's going to be something pretty special.
That's taken forever.
Yeah.
What a shame too. The Double Door, historic. Neo, when that closed, we Greg actually went down and did a show with that, and we had some footage of the last time before they closed it, And now what is it, a daycare center or
It
something?
is very ironic.
The kids are there playing.
One could argue it always was.
That's true in some ways.
Yeah. It's just history. That means a lot. And this is such a music city, too. And the fans here are so appreciative. I know we would have like our free shows. It was such a good way to introduce new people to a band without having to pay for it. And then you'd go to the concert at night, And it was just a great little, stepping stone for a lot of stuff.
And generally speaking, I can say that we made it a point to come to the JBTV shows when we could, because you're never going to get a better level of production, a more intimate setting, and be able to have a better line of sight to the artist than you would at JBTV. So it was always, I could feel better about standing in the back during the live show if I'd been to the filming in advance, because you really got that up front and center, feeling to it. And the sound was always fantastic. The lighting was great.
Yeah.
And that was always just a real benefit when we could do it.
Okay, we have one more brand new video that's no one's seen before. That's right here, right now. Let's talk about that.
All right, this new one is We All Rise, and it is one of the aforementioned more politically themed songs that we were talking about. And the theme of that is kicking against it, fighting against the prevailing narrative, but at the same time not losing your humanity in the concept and in effect, and staying centered, staying grounded, staying connected to who you are. But at the same time, I think that there's a huge part of the narrative right now that's being pushed out there where things are very much becoming isolated and about me. And in the process, I think we're forgetting the world that we live in and the people that we have to coexist with, and the larger narrative that I think is lost to a great degree. And so this is very much a rallying cry to think of the community, think of the larger assembly of people in our decisions, and but still keeping the individual alive throughout that.
Retreating to the place inside, a place of refuge and a place to hide, a place to be. The horse and water dies of thirst, forever fearing they would be the first to drink and see, and see. We rise above our station, we eclipse the light of nations, we reveal the past for all to Observance through a cynic's eye, reject the narrative.
you know what? I hate the fact that politicians, you know how commercials go. You got to be honest. You can't. It's truth in advertising. When it comes to politicians, they can lie.
All they
And
want.
lie and lie. And they can go and put it on TV and everything, you know.
And you can be president.
Yeah, exactly. You know. Well, we had that really good president. What was his name? Trumpowski.
Yeah, don't say it 3 times or he shows up.
Oh God, I hated him when he was on. You know.
A nightmare.
I still can't believe that actually happened.
And there are still people that say he's president still.
Yep.
You know, it's like, what the hell? I mean, how stupid can you be? Remember MC 900 Foot Jesus?
Of course.
They had that song, Truth Is Out of Style.
Truth is out of style. Truth is out of style. Truth is out of style. Truth
Is out of style.
Remember that song? And Henry Rollins had another song about being a liar.
You want to know why? 'Cause I'm a liar. Yeah, I'm a liar. I'll tear your mind out. I'll burn your soul.
Those songs should be brought back because they're so today, you know. And then what's happening with books and everything, like Fahrenheit 451, that movie, oh, that'll never happen. I mean, that's like next year in Florida. We're burning these books, you know. Or Brazil, remember that movie?
Oh,
Very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that way at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid, you know, I did stuff at the Uptown Theater, and when 2001: A Space Odyssey came out, and those early films, we saw them when they first came in because I knew this old projectionist, an 80-year-old guy that I bonded with. I was a little, you know, kid, but just to see it in a theater on the big screen with nobody there, and the voice of the theater, Altec speakers blasting, you know. So, do you have big speakers in your studio?
Just regular, about 8-inch pair of Mackie HR824s, which are my mains.
Oh, I like those too. I got the little Yamahas here.
Yep, those HS10s.
I don't know. Yeah, sure.
They look like them.
Yeah, I got a Mackie right there, holding that TV up.
Oh, right.
But I don't know. It's a terrible thing. You know, when I built the studio, it's like, how do I arrange it to make it cool? You know, is it okay?
This is
It's
fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea what we were walking into. This place is gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to be like, you know, I'm all about atmosphere. I think just like you, when you do your music, you don't have like fluorescent lights and stuff running. You probably have an atmosphere
Yes.
going.
Exactly.
You know, burning incense or having cool lighting and everything. You know, and what's nice about the new LED lighting, you can change the color temperatures.
Yeah.
So you can be whatever mood you're in. And it's light therapy, I think it's called, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, you know, when on the TV station I used to be on, had 2 horror hosts. I wish we still had it. It was Channel 59 called VPod TV. It was run by a guy, an attorney that had no idea what television about from a computer. Basically, you know, there's the computer, there's our TV station. It's like, well, that's not what a TV station is all about. You know.
Was that in Chicago?
Yeah. You see, we were on the air for 2 years. No one even knows about it. But I'm glad I still do my public access show. I never gave up on that. So
Awesome.
I've been doing that since 1984. Never missed an episode in all the 40 years I've done TV, even through my chemotherapy and everything, you know. Wait a minute. It's starting to sound like what you were saying. Me. Back to you.
Hey, we're on your show.
Yeah, but you're the artists. You're the ones that make the music. If it wasn't for great artists like you, just think how bad the world would be, because music is so therapeutic, and it's a healing thing. And since I had open heart surgery and I had a pretty big out of body experience, I felt that's why I brought that up. And now everything's a little more emotional with music to me. It's weird, you know. So I can't explain it, but you know.
Music has always been healing, and that's, gosh, since my childhood, and that's how I dealt with a lot of anger and trauma and things, was finding that release. And
So now we heard about Williams beginning with music. When was the first music that you really bonded with?
Some of my very earliest memories,
Yes.
literally being 3 and hearing my mom playing records like Donovan and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and she was also into like some of the more folky things of the day, like Buffy St. Marie. Oh my goodness, that had such an impact on me from some of my earliest childhood memories. And as a kid, I was so obsessed with the radio. I would keep notebooks full. Actually, I think William did this too. Maybe it's a Virgo thing. But notebooks full of all the songs that I liked that I would hear on the radio from the age of 8. And I also saw Kiss on that tour in 1977, but here in Chicago. Didn't have quite the same effect on me. I personally cared for Cheap Trick more than Kiss at the time, but there you go. And I found punk rock in the far left-hand side of the radio dial and all those college stations back in about 1980.
Mm-hmm.
And that opened up a whole new world. It wasn't just the top 40 radio that I had previously only been listening to as a kid. And that energy just spoke to me because I was an angry child. So having an
A scary, angry kid.
It was like inner hurt turning towards.
Was that here in
outside.
Chicago?
Here in Chicago, yeah.
So you had
born and bred
WLS,
Chicago.
the Super CFL.
Yeah, I
And
loved
remember
WLS
how those two radio
89.
stations sounded differently?
Yes,
You-
they did. There was
without even knowing.
Right, this actual sound of the quality of the sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Like one had a lot of reverb, WLS, they had, and then you had Super CFL with real disc jockeys playing real music, and, they were into it, and it was a whole different world. But radio doesn't have that. There's no sound anymore, and, yeah, but you would have hated some of the old top 40 stations we worked for. You know why? Because we would, the very speed on the turntables, you could adjust them a little bit. So we turned it up just a little bit. So when they listened to our station, it just sounded a little. So when you went to the other station, it's like, boy, this station's dull. It's really dragging.
Things are a bit more upbeat.
Yeah. So it's like, you would hate it though as an artist. Go, what are you doing? You've destroyed my artistic vision.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Ooh, ooh. Wow, this has been fun. So I'm glad you've had any other bands that you've seen on JBTV that we should play?
What else have we seen? Oh my gosh. Well, I mean,
Boot Blacks. You should definitely play Boot
Yeah,
Blacks.
yeah.
Love them.
Walk alone.
Such a sweet thing.
What have we been here for? We've watched a lot more shows than we've actually been in person.
How was it watching the show? Because I always like to.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll throw one in. IMX.
Oh, yes, we
yeah.
love IMX.
Yeah. Now, we didn't have an audience. He wanted to be alone for that one. But he brought in these cool projectors and the lights were going with the music. What an artist. What a talent. You know.
Deep love for what Chris does.
You're living, but you've got no soul. You captivate, but you hold no weight at all. So watch as I start to smile. You're duller than you think you're deep. You aggravate, but you always stop to speak. So watch as I start to smile. After every party I die. 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 I die. The morning breaks us up inside. Payback, execution, killing time. So watch as I start to smile. There's something that you think you need. Trying your best to sleep at cocaine speed. So watch as I start to smile. After every party I die. After every party I die. After every party I The morning breaks us up inside. Payback, execution, killing time. So watch as I start to smile. Smile.
So you are working with other bands, right? You're producing
all the time.
Yeah. So what are the bands you're working with that have some future, you think?
There's a Chicago band called Mystery Actions, all girl punk band, who were just a blast to work with. That was one of my favorite productions.
Do they have a video?
They do.
They do actually. It was shot here. It's a video. The video is called Warbeat, and I did the audio for that. They shot that on a military base, I believe, somewhere here in Chicago, or military a war museum of some sort. And
cool!
So it's a super cool, super fun video. And
I'm gonna play the video.
It's the Mystery Actions Warbeat Collection. Nikki, Lucy Decay, Mikhail Hell, Mary Rose.
Whoa, they look so cool!
Hey girls, what you doing?
Wow, it's Mary Rose!
Oh no, here comes the evil evictions.
Take that, Johnny. Eat lead, Chris Polish.
Also available the Mystery Actions 1984 collection, while supplies last.
Shut down, shut it down!
Each sold separately. Evictions figures, tanks, planes, and blow not included.
From Chi-Town Toys.
Yeah, those girls are great. And just great energy, very punk rock and roll kind of sound. And So working with them was an absolute blast. Right now I'm doing just a lot of mixing and remixing for a number of other current artists that are sort of local. There's a band from Rockford called the Funeral March that I'm doing some stuff for.
Do they have a video too?
No, not as of yet. So a lot of these bands are relatively newish. You know, it's a blast to be able to spare people a lot of the experiences that they go into the studio with. A lot of times you come in and you and the engineer just don't speak the same language. You don't have the same common references. You know, musically, you can't, throw out there, oh, I'm looking for a real Roland S. Howard guitar sound on this, and have them know what you mean. And so being able to parse what they're saying and actually morph that and use and turn that into a sound is something that, in the earliest of times I wish I'd had, because normally in a lot of live venues or studios, you walk in and you get the Leonard Skinner guy, who is kind of like
Sweet Home Alabama. That's the only way your sound's gonna work.
Right, you walk in with a drum machine, they're all like, "What's this?" And so it's having someone that has the same vernacular and the same expansive knowledge in the musical musical pantheon that you exist in is an asset. So I'm happy that I can bring that to others and make that a better experience for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, once again, I am so impressed. What were you going to say?
And Autumn, you just did a music video.
Of course, yeah, just this past weekend, a band from Minneapolis called Autumn, who do have a video, and I just shot another one for them.
Their first one and the one that's coming up.
Yeah, their videos for the song The Fall. I shot that. That was actually my first video.
To the edge, I broke down. Oh, I go on from day to day to day. No one knows how I pay and pay and pay. Bright lights have never been a friend to me. I'd seen the light and it was not who I needed it to
Now, Bobby shot some pictures of you at a theater that was falling apart. Where was that? Because that was so
Indiana.
beautiful.
Gary,
that was
Indiana.
Really? You know, there's something about theaters that I've always been intrigued about. I just have a thing for them. Even when you see the smashed up and you're up on the balcony and all the windows and everything, and you know, it's and then you took pictures through the broken glass and everything. That was so cool.
Bobby is one of those guys that he didn't really tell us a whole lot about it ahead of time. He says, you got to get in the car. We got to do this.
Yeah.
And we trust Bobby with anything. So it was, as soon as we got out there, it was like, wow.
Yeah, fantastic.
And those photos are so compelling that even despite the fact that we have a whole bunch of new photos, there are still people that go back and use those photos
all the time.
Anyway, even though it's not the same band lineup or anything like that, but they'll still use those for show ads because they're so compelling, so well shot.
Right.
We need to update.
Yeah. So you go through different band members from project to project, pretty much, or,
well,
or who's available for a tour.
Well,
or
with
whatever?
Bellwether, it's the core of it is Sarah and I. You know, where it's
We're the only ones on the recordings.
Yeah.
And
so, if it wasn't for you guys, I mean, look, you're madly in love with each other. You got married at the Metro, and you're a creative team. My aunt and uncle were like that too. They did the Felice and Boodle Bryant. They wrote all the Everly Brothers songs way back in the day. And I used to remember when I was a kid, they'd come over and they'd be up all night smoking pot and playing the guitar. And then they'd sort of argue about the lyrics. No, it should be this. No, but I got this. It was like, it was beautiful. And the fact that, that is such a plus to be a couple that gets along and can do that together. So, this is like a winning formula right here.
I can't argue.
Yeah. When did you first meet?
Oh my gosh. A long time ago.
Well, it's
Willie remembers perfectly.
Well, I do actually. And this sounds very Zemeckis, so forgive me for that. But the start of all this was, and it's actually a very Chicago story in this way, that I was in another band in LA at the time, and I think just gotten home off tour. I'd been in Germany with a band called Mephisto Waltz that I was in at the time. And I came back and I was visiting an old guitarist of mine at his home. And he had a copy of this magazine from Chicago called Permission Magazine. This is about 1992.
A fanzine, yeah.
This is like 92, 93. And I was just sort of leafing through it, and it was talking about Neo and all these, club spaces. And then there was just this photo of this woman in the back of it, standing with some guy. But she was sort of looking at the camera, had her hands on her hips, and was sort of pouty with this big hair. And it was black and white, really grainy and really small. But I was just taken by the photo, so much so that I actually stole the magazine from my guitarist and took it home.
Ooh.
And so I held on to that.
It sounds like it could be a dirty story. Go on.
In theory, but no, that wound up. I took that home, and it just periodic would stare at that photo. I was like, "Who is this person?" And nobody I knew had any answers for it. This is all pre-internet, of course. And so then I was booking some band in Chicago, and I came across a newspaper article that had the picture in it, a picture of this person, and said "Scary Lady Sarah." I was like, "That's who that girl is." And so then from there, I was booking shows, and I was put in touch with her, on the booking of a show in '94 in Chicago. I think that was Catastrophe Ballet and This Ascension. Right. And so we chatted on the phone there, but then it was a mutual friend of ours, Patrick Ogle of the band Thanatos from here in Chicago as well, who was working at Project Records, which was also based in Chicago at the time.
Actually, they were based in... He worked. Okay, this is kind of convoluted along, but they were back in LA at that point. That's why we went out there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So I'm getting my timeline mixed up.
So,
but whatever the case, we were. I was living in LA, and there was a barbecue at Sam from Project Records' house, and I was kind of wishy-washy about going. I didn't know if I was going to or not. But then Pat Ogle said, "Yeah, I'm coming from Chicago, and I'm bringing Scary Lady Sarah with." And I was like, "Scary Lady Sarah's coming?" And then so went to the barbecue rather, and met her, and it was, that was just one of those things where, and so we were both otherwise spoken for and whatnot, but there was definitely a connection there, and I carried a torch for a long time.
That's awesome. What a romantic story.
Well, we didn't-
Music brought you together with a fanzine from a little grainy black and white picture. Ah,
We worked together for many years, and we didn't become a couple though until 2010.
Correct.
ooh,
So we had a
you held out. You wanted to keep them waiting. I guess it's a terrible way to say it. So have you had a good time here?
it's
blast.
wonderful.
Yeah, I'm glad it turned out more than what you expected. Well, we're going to this guy's house, Jerry, and he's going to do a show in his front room. It's going to be like, crazy,
No, an absolute blast and a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, you're always welcome here. And any bands that you want to have on the show, anybody you want, just let me know and we'll do it.
I will bounce them your way, absolutely.
Yeah, because I want to help as many bands as I can. I like the beginning,
Yeah.
because when they're big and famous, it's like, okay, everybody wants to talk to you, whatever.
And the work's already been done in a lot of ways. Yeah, but when you can catch somebody, on the ascent like that in that early stage, you feel like you're in on something.
Yeah. Plus, the bands get jaded. They don't like when John Lydon came in. He was with Public Image Limited, and he said, "One question, and I'm fucking out of here."
Oh my gosh.
He had this
One
attitude,
question.
but he came an hour early. He went to XRT and he walked out of the interview. And so he came like an hour early to JBTV, and I go, this isn't going to go good at all. He just left XRT, and my cameraman, Mark, wasn't there yet. So I took the F900, the 90-pound camera, which I love. I still, have an old version of it. And I sat there with my shotgun mic talking to him. We couldn't get rid of him because I never asked the same crap-ass questions that he would always get. It would be always the same thing and try to be, get the drama or the whatever you want to call it,
Right.
The sensational
as opposed to the
stuff.
usual, tell us about the formation of the Sex Pistols.
Yeah. Who cares? We're just going to talk about what's going on now,
Exactly.
And, of course, it would get back around about some of that stuff.
Sure.
And Peter Murphy was another one that way. Because he came down, they spent $60,000 on the Scarlet Thing and You video, and MTV refused to play it. They said, this just doesn't fit our format. And his wife did it. And he was so depressed about music, he said, I remember he sitting with his guitar at our studio on the floor when we were literally cross-legged on the floor at the studio. And he's saying, I'm getting out of music because all they talk about is the old Bauhaus days and all that stuff, and it's not about his new stuff and what he's doing. And he says, it's just not for me, but thank God he never got out of music, His health, I don't know, have you heard anything with that, or?
I know that obviously that they canceled or maybe at least postponed all those shows.
Yeah.
But we wish him the best. He's an amazing performer still. His voice is just as
One of the best.
brilliant as ever.
Yeah. I remember Chrissy Hine came in too, and she did the Fairground Boys. She did one of the side projects. And wow, her voice is just, it's amazing, There's so many great artists out there, and it gets to a point. I watch the Grammys, and I'm going, where are all the artists that I think should have been recognized? Like, they go new music, and there's like, where's the new music, And even in the format of the genre, what genre would you put yourselves into? It would be the goth industrial. Where would you be in there?
That's a hard one because
There's it's stupid, isn't it, to say that you sound like this or that?
Rock, generally. I
Good
suppose.
rock and roll. Yeah. I am so blessed to have you on JBTV. Thank you for coming into my home studio, and thank you for making such great music, and keep it up, never give up. And,
Thank you for making it accessible to everyone.
Yeah, well, I'm never
we
giving up.
appreciate it. You're a Chicago icon.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
an
right.
institution.
I got my 3 viewers, and that's all I care about. Cool. Well, till next time, this is Jerry Bryant from the Windy City saying bye-bye, stay high, but of course, keep on rocking and rolling with the best music, the best bands, like this one right here, the Bellwether Syndicate. And it doesn't have an A, it's got an E.
That's right.
and they could be also called TBS, and that has nothing to do with Mr. Turner.
For sure.
Although the money would be nice.
No argument.
Wouldn't turn it down.
Cool.
JBTV.
There you go, the JBTV Podcast, where we bring you the best music, the best interviews, and it's all unscripted and totally unrehearsed. Follow us on all the social media and spread the word. This is JBTV Music Television, the JBTV Podcast.
JBTV.